I know what Jesus did for me. Well, good evening, everyone. Welcome to Community Baptist Church. Let's all stand together and turn in our hymn book to hymn number 256, When I See the Blood, Christ our Redeemer died on the cross. We'll sing this song out together. Hymn number 256, When I See the Blood.
Christ our Redeemer died on the cross, died for the sinner, paid all his due. Shall you receive him, need never fear. Yes, he will pass over you.
When I see the blood. Thank you, ladies.
When I see the blood, when I see the blood I will pass over you.
Oh, boundless passion,
oh, boundless love, Jesus has power, Jesus is true. All who obey are safe from the storm. Oh, he will pass over you. When I see the blood, when I see the blood, when I see the blood, I will pass over you.
While the instruments play, why don't you greet one another with a handshake and welcome people to the service tonight. Good job. Great job, bud. Love you, buddy. Let's sing one verse of Wounded for Me while the ushers come forward for our evening offering. Hymn number 263, Wounded for Me. One verse of this song together. Hymn number 263. Wounded for me, wounded for me, there on the cross he was wounded for me. Gone my transgressions, and now I am all because Jesus was wounded for me. Great singing, everyone. Glad to have you out here tonight. Make sure I got my microphone on. We're now going to have a time of prayer, getting us ready for our time of offering. Remind you, we have some upcoming events coming up next Sunday. Palm Sunday services. So 9:45 Sunday school, 11 a.m. morning service, and then Sunday evening of next week, Pastor will be doing the Passover service as part of the Palm Sunday service. So come back at 5 p.m. for that. And then Tuesday the 15th, Mobile Food Pantry. Already had, as Pastor said, we've had an extreme uptick of people calling in for food as people's tax returns seem to be running out and they're getting back into normal day life. So if you wouldn't mind praying for people and then being here on that day to help out, give out food. And then April the 18th, Good Friday service. And we're looking forward to that day as we'll have a Good Friday service at 6 p.m. And then April the 20th, Easter Sunday services, 9 a.m. breakfast, 10 a.m. morning service, 11 a.m. morning worship. And then the ladies' brunch, fill my cup. I was talking with my wife earlier, and I know that this, because of just how the calendar works, it's a little bit unusual that we have Easter Sunday and then the ladies' brunch is 6 days later. So I think part of it is that it's because it's so close, some of the ladies haven't figured out. We are just really 3 weeks away from having the ladies' brunch because Easter's right before it. So ladies, if you're planning on coming, you need to start inviting your friends now. and you need to start signing them up now. This way they have time to get them registered for that event. Well, we're grateful you're here tonight. Let's go ahead and let's have a word of prayer for our offering. So grateful for Josh Benham. He was out here tonight as we had a food pantry delivery tonight. We were offered a semi-truck of cilantro, and just only 4 pallets, 3.5 pallets, 3.5 pallets. So for anyone who's here tonight, we have a mission for you. Share the good news. Take some cilantro with you and go give it to a neighbor or maybe 50 neighbors. And if you have a friend who's a farmer who wants them for their pigs, you may take it for that. We're going to give away some this week because we have several families who need food. But as you know, cilantro is not something you can give whole pallets and boxes of. So we will give out some to them. But anyone who would like some, go ahead and take some home for you tonight. And they will be at the back door as you are dismissed. Josh Benham, please lead us in a word of prayer. Well, thank you for joining with us tonight. Looking forward to another great sermon that we've been studying together here on the Moments on Mountain. So go ahead and turn your Bible to Matthew chapter number 17. As many of you know, we'll be having a building committee meeting at the end of the service. I was talking with Pastor a couple weeks ago. Pastor, you know what? He said instead of just having the building committee meeting before the service, and some people can't come, he said, what if we just have it right after your sermon? He said, and then everyone who wants to stay for it can stay, and anyone who doesn't want to stay for it doesn't have to, but this will make it available for everyone. It'll be during their regularly scheduled service time. So let's go ahead and let's look at this tonight. We're looking at lesson number 5 of Moments on Mountain, and tonight we're going to do Jesus on the Mountain of Transfiguration. How many remember Sunday school as a kid? How many remember the flannel graph Sunday school lesson on Jesus and the Mount Transfiguration? A lot of you grew up with it. A lot of you didn't. But I remember in our church, as growing up in our church, as a little kid, my mom teaching the story of Jesus on the Mount of Transfiguration. Today, for those who know, is my mom's birthday. And I was remembering that moment of my mom coming up there, and we had a vibrant children's ministry in our church, and my mom ran most of it by herself. My mom never really had much of great health, but there was different roles people had. People like Laura Wesley ran the nursery. She was one of our first members. Kathy Cook played the piano, and my mom ran junior church. And I can remember it like it was yesterday, Jesus on the Mount Transfiguration. And my mom didn't have much flannel graph characters, but she'd have a few, and she'd walk through this story. And she'd tell the story, and we'd get to be a part of it. And I remember sitting in there listening to it, and I remember as we get ready for the lesson, my mom would sit down with my brother and I, because my brother and I grew up in a Christian home. We were homeschooled in Christian education. We did Bible lessons 5 days a week. 6 nights a week, my parents did devotions with us. 1 night a week, Sunday night, they would just ask us to reteach what we learned in church that day, which is always fun to look at the teacher and tell her what you learned from her class. And have her look at you as your mother and go, I don't remember going over that. Let's teach the lesson again. It's some moments that you could have there. But we knew those lessons. My mom would sit down and she'd look at me, she'd sit there as we're in the room. She'd go, boys, in a few minutes, most of this room is going to be filled with kids whose mom and dads haven't taught you the same way we have. They don't know how to say please and thank you. They don't know the Bible lesson. For many of them, this is the first time in their life they are ever going to hear this Bible story. I know that to you too, this is probably the 30th time you've heard this one. But today, I think with the kids that are coming in, we're going to have 12, 15, 25 kids. And in this room today, you and your 4 friends are going to be the only 4 who've ever heard this story in their life. So I need you guys to sit up in your seats. I need you boys to pay attention. And I need you to pretend like it's the first time you've heard it. And I remember sitting there, and I can't tell how many times my mom did that speech. You will not talk out of turn. You'll listen in the class. But you're gonna listen like it's the first time you ever. And tonight I want to challenge you. We're coming into Easter, and I'm a little bit concerned, not just for our church, but for Christians in general, which our church is a part of. Jesus in the Mount Transfiguration, for some of you, you've heard 700 times. Some of you, this is the first time you've ever heard this story. Next week, Palm Sunday, some of you have heard it in church for 50 years. Every Palm Sunday, you've never missed. As pastor starts going through it, you're going to walk through the line with it. But the person sitting next to you, it's as amazing as a first really good date. Because they've never known this before. And as we're coming in to this Easter season, especially in our post-Christian world, when I started out in youth ministry, I was telling my wife this is amazing to me. 20 years ago, you hired me as an intern. 20. 16 years ago, you hired me full-time. 20 years ago, standing up in front of the class, teaching a Wednesday night or a junior church class, I could do this. Okay, everybody? Let's say this together. John 3:16. For God so loved the world. And 80% of the room, maybe 90% of the room would say it. Vacation Bible School or our sports camp, easily 70% of the kids could say it. Last year, Christian sports camp at our church, got up in front of the room. For those who were there, I'd say less than 40% of the room could say the verse. The world has changed, folks. And we are coming into, as we're studying this lesson tonight, I want you to catch this lesson with fresh eyes. Now, I only have 16 minutes to teach a lesson, and I've taken 6 of it to focus on something that's important. Let's make certain that we are welcoming to people, and that we, as we come into this, that Easter is as special as it was the first time you heard it. And let's start that tonight in this sermon. Matthew chapter number 17, and let's read together. And after 6 days, Jesus taking Peter, James, and John his brother, bringing them up into a high mountain apart. Hey, mountain, we're there. And was transfigured before them. And his face did shine as the sun, and his raiment was as white as light. And behold, there appeared unto them Moses and Elias talking with them. And then answered Peter and said unto Jesus, Lord, it is good for us to be here. If thou wilt, let us make here 3 tabernacles, one for thee, one for Moses, and one for Elias. And while he yet spake, behold, a bright cloud overshadowed them, and behold, a voice out of the cloud which said, This is my beloved Son, in whom I am well pleased, hear ye him. And when the disciples heard it, they fell on their face and were sore afraid. And Jesus came and touched them and said, Arise, and be not afraid. And when they lifted up their eyes, they saw no man save Jesus only. And as they came down from the mountain, Jesus charged them, saying, Tell the vision to no man until the Son of Man be risen again from the dead. And his disciples asked him, saying, Why then say the scribes that Elias must come first? And Jesus answered and said unto them, Elias truly shall come and restore all things, but I say unto you that Elias is come already. And they knew him not, but have done unto him whatsoever they listed. Likewise shall they also the Son of Man suffer of them. Then the disciples understood that he spoke unto them of John the Baptist. This story is an amazing story to me because I think it is a great moment for us to realize we are Peter. If ever there was a moment in the Christian faith where I could describe the church, I would describe us, not you, not her or him, us. We are Peter. We have a great high view of our tradition, of the law, of the prophets. But we have forgotten that Jesus is not equal to the law and the prophets. He is the fulfillment of the law and the prophets. See, Peter stood there on this day as the story is being told, and so Jesus brings the children of Israel along, right? Jesus brings the disciples. He brings them up to this mountain. He says, hey, we're going to pray together. And as Jesus is praying, all of a sudden, what happens? There comes out a bright light shines from Jesus' face. Jesus is transfigured. And all of a sudden, out comes Moses, who represents the law. What is the highest thing to a Jewish person? The law. Who is the lawgiver according to the Jew? It was Moses. They missed it. Moses wasn't the lawgiver. God was the lawgiver. Moses was the law delivery man. He represented the law, but he wasn't the law. He never wanted to be saw as the law, but they put him, because he copied the law down, that he was the guy. That would be like me handing you a baseball card and you thinking that makes me a good baseball player. Me writing down a story about how to cook Julie Carpenter's meal, and you go, that makes Pastor Joe really good at cooking. And they sit there, they go, this is the law. And then there's the prophets. Who is the chief of the Old Testament prophets? Yes, son? Elijah. Wonder why you knew that one. And at this moment, Peter stands there, and Peter looks, and Peter goes, this is it. We have the greatest moment in Israel history. We have the three equal greatest parts of our faith. Jesus said it this way, think not that I am come to destroy the law or the prophets. I am not come to destroy, but to fulfill. When Moses and Elias are standing there talking with Jesus, they aren't talking with Jesus' equals. They are coming to worship their Savior. Unfortunately today, if I talk to the average Christian, it goes like this. Yeah, I'm good with God. We look at God as an equal. God's my buddy. We're on equal playing fields. When I talk to people about God, they go, yeah, God's, and listen, God is my friend. But he's my God. That would be like if you were best buddies with Donald Trump. Sure, he could be your buddy, but you're not equal. How many understand the difference? One of you has a nuclear suitcase. The other of you might have a Samsonite. We sometimes look at God in this unusual view, the same view that Peter did. For verily I say unto you, till heaven and earth will pass away, not one tittle shall pass away, no lights in the law, till all be fulfilled. William Cowper wrote this, dearest idol I have known, whatever idol be, help me to tear it from thy throne and worship only thee. We have a church today, we have a Christianity today that worships the creation and not the Creator. Oh man, we really, 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 really love things that don't matter. We get bent out of shape if we don't get to sing the song we like to sing. We get so bothered. I'm not trying to be mean. I'm trying to be helpful right now. Pastor gets up here and from the pulpit, and I watched him this morning say, hey, on Easter Sunday, I want you to park as far back as you can to save the seats. And I'm sorry, I was standing in the back, and I watched some church members stiffen up. I thought, hey, whatever happened to rescue the perishing? I'll do anything to save the lost, but park in the back of the parking lot? That's a bridge too far, Pastor. Hey, Peter looked at Christ on the Mountain of Transfiguration and said, you are equal to the two greatest parts of my faith. He wasn't equal, he was the fulfillment of it. Hey, we had a parking lot, they have to tear it down to the base before they can rebuild it. Hey, it might be time for some of us to look at what we're actually worshiping. What Peter's talking about is building a town. Hey, let's create a monument for us to worship right now. You know what God says? God takes a cloud and covers the glory of God. Do you know why God did it? I don't, but I got to guess. I think it was because Peter took away the glory of God. Peter's words took away what God wanted to do in that moment. The question for us is many times we worship the creation rather than the Creator. Romans says, who changed the truth of God into a lie and worship and serve the creature more than the Creator, who is blessed forevermore. We are called to worship our Creator and worship Him only. Me and Pastor were talking about this morning, a church that I went to for many, many years announced last week that they are moving Sunday school to Wednesday night and Wednesday night to Sunday school time slot. And the world is now going to end. And there will be people who will truly be, it is the end of all the world. How could you move Sunday school to Wednesday night? It's not even Sunday. And I would say to them, because that's what works at their church. They aren't removing church. They're just switching the services. And for the community that they live in, it works better for them to have their Sunday school classes meet on Wednesday night than it does in Sunday school. And so they're going to switch them. They're going to have a big class on Sunday morning. The other stuff on Wednesday night. That's what they're going to do. But to some people, they're going to worship this thing more than the God of the thing. A couple years ago, Pastor came to me and we were talking about doing Easter breakfast and moving the Sunday night service to Easter breakfast. And I told Pastor, we're going to have to talk with people. We're going to have to plan this. Pastor, we're going to have to go before people and tell people, hey, we're going to do this because it's change. And Peter's not used to the change yet. Peter's stuck on what happened. I have for all of my life worshiped the law and the prophets. And there's the problem. Peter worshiped the wrong thing. He worshiped the creation of God rather than the Creator. Now, by the way, some of you are going to get scared here in a minute. I'm not talking about changing anything in our church tonight, neither is Pastor, okay? Just say like, there's a sermon, next week Pastor Joe's going to be up here in skinny jeans. No, not happening, folks, okay? I'm pointing out the fact of, in our Christian faith, many a time, we know the punchline without knowing the truth behind it. Does that make sense? If I ask people, what do you believe about politics, they'll list a political party. Then I'll ask them what that party stands for, and they don't know. Does that concern anybody? It concerns me. I'll ask people, say, what are you? I'm a Christian. Great. What's that mean? It means I'm good with Jesus. So, what do you believe about the virgin birth? What's that? What do you believe about the end times? What do you believe about salvation by grace through faith? What do you believe about works? What do you believe about this? What do you believe about the blood atonement? What do you believe about the vicarious substitution of Christ? What do you believe about prayer? What do you believe about the doctrine of the Holy Spirit? What do you believe about how to lead people to soul-saving knowledge of God and heaven? Well, I'm with Jesus. Hey, Peter walked with Jesus for 2 years, but didn't know enough about his God to realize that was God. Hey, have you forgotten that he's God? Are you worshiping all the stuff that he made? By the way, I think all the stuff God made is amazing. The other day, my wife and I were driving in the car, and we're talking about all the beautiful stuff outside. We're just driving down the road. We were coming back from a beautiful IFBF preachers meeting, and we're just driving down the road. It was just so great, and we're talking about maybe doing some trips and stuff, and then I heard a shoo shoo. I went, that's not good. And then my car went bing, and my face was illuminated with a check transmission light. And then the car did a little stuttery thing, and then it stopped. I said, is everything okay? I said, no, honey. Nothing will ever be okay ever again. Hey, can I tell you something? The creation didn't change. The sky was still beautiful. There were still deer outside. Everything that was outside had not changed one thing. My attitude towards them did. Folks, what happened is Peter was so used to staring at the law and the prophets as his way to God, he forgot that they were just the way to honor God. He started treating them like they were God. And some people, hey, they treat the chair at church as if it's God. This chair is where I worship God. No. I can worship God in that chair, that chair, that chair, that chair. I can worship God in an addition. I can worship God outside in the pavilion. I can worship God. It's not the chair. What Peter thought, this is my guess, how amazing to meet Moses and Elijah. We should honor all three equally. Hey, do you know what Moses and Elias thought? What a big idiot. God is here. God's here. I don't know if you ever saw it. There's a video that went out a couple years ago about a little boy. He's standing there and he's talking with his friend, and he's talking about how much he loves baseball. And they're just talking about baseball and all the different things that they're loving baseball for, and that they love baseball, and the dad's standing there, and the dad and the little boy are talking, and the dad knows that standing at the table, one table over, is the famous baseball player Mariano Rivera. Him and the boy are wearing Mariano Rivera jerseys. And the dad realizes it and walks the son over to the boy. And Mariano Rivera is a nice guy. And the boy starts talking, and the guy goes, who's your favorite player? It's Mariano Rivera, asking a boy. And the boy goes, Mariano Rivera. Dad, we got to get going. We don't want to be late for the next thing. And the dad's like, yeah, who's your favorite player? He goes, I already told the guy. Mariana Rivera, we need to go. And the dad's like, hold on, be polite. And the boy's like, okay, who's your favorite player? And the guy goes, I don't know. I always kind of like Jeter. And the kid goes, Jeter's not as good as Rivera. Rivera's the best pitcher. And the kid just starts spouting off all these stats about Rivera. And finally Rivera goes, actually, it's not correct. He didn't win that game by that. He won this game by this. And the kid goes, no, I'm pretty sure I'm right on this. And the dad's laughing. It's one of the funniest videos you've ever seen. And finally the dad looks at the boy and says, so are you sure that's your favorite player? And he goes, yeah. He goes, would you recognize him if you saw him? He goes, of course, Dad. Can we please go? And the dad looks at Rivera, and Rivera goes, would you like me to sign his jersey for him? And the kid goes, why? Folks, Peter stands there and stands in the presence of God and doesn't realize it. Here's the thing, though. So are you. Where 2 or 3 are gathered, there I am in the midst. God's standing here right now. Have you ever seen someone shine with the love of Jesus Christ in their face? And you knew God was there? Hey, God's there. He's here right now. Hey, Oswald Chambers said this way, we slander God by our eagerness to serve God without knowing Him. Do you know your Maker? What can we learn? Here's what we can learn. I am the Lord, that is my name. And my glory will I not give unto another, neither my praise to graven images. God makes it very clear. This is mine. My glory is mine and mine alone. I deserve it, no one else. My creation, I did it. Don't take credit for it. You know what Peter says? Hey, so great. Jesus, you're equal to the guy who killed somebody and the guy who wanted to commit suicide. And that's where Jesus stands there, says, arise. It's okay. You need to learn me a little better. Which brings us to our final thing. What can we learn? Here it is, folks. Some of us get nervous, and when we're nervous, we speak too much. When I was a boy, about 17 years old, after the 50th time or 500th, I don't know which, of putting my foot in my mouth because I just couldn't stop talking sometimes. My mom came in and sat down in my room. She had a sheet of paper. I had the sheet of paper until a few years ago when my basement flooded, then I lost it. My mom wrote on it a Bible verse, this Bible verse. She said, son, you're a lot like Peter. You're eager to do what you need to do, but unfortunately, your mouth gets in the way. Even a fool, when he holdeth his peace, is counted wise, and he that shutteth his lips is esteemed a man of understanding. Can I tell you what we can learn from this lesson? Worship the Creator and not the creation. And sometimes, dare I say it, many times, be quiet. Just be quiet. That old statement, if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all. It's true. How about this one? Even a fool, when he holdeth his peace, is counted wise. Sometimes it's just better to be a quiet person than to be Peter, who stood there as like, someone's got to say something. Have you ever heard someone say, well, someone had to say it? No, they didn't. No, they didn't. So I challenge you this. Let's worship the Creator. And let's hold our peace unless we have something worth saying. Dear Lord, I pray that you'll bless us and keep us. Thank you, state you blessed us with. And in thy name we pray. I'm going to say, Pastor, as I listen to this lesson tonight, God spoke to my heart. There's some moments in my life where I am worshiping the creation rather than the Creator. Will you pray for me that I will change my heart become what God has for me? I see some hands popping up right now. Say, Pastor Joe, that's not it. My problem is sometimes, or maybe many times, I speak when I should be quiet. Would you pray for me that I will learn to hold my peace so that I can be counted wise? See those hands raised? I pray for you. Right now, Marty's going to play just one verse. While she plays that one verse, will you stay at your seat and pray to God that He'll help you with these two areas? Miss Marty?
If you'd like to be a part of the building committee meeting and updates of the building, I just ask you to move right over to this side. Everyone else, you're dismissed. Don't forget to take your cilantro on your way out. And don't forget, we have a Wednesday Bible study and prayer and Master's Club. And also, we have a Saturday men's Bible study at the Chick-fil-A. So anyone would like to be